So I want to talk about a few things today, getting right into it. Tuning your guitar right off the bat. The first thing you do when you grab your guitar should be tuning your guitar. But how many of us are guilty of just walking right in, plugging in our pedal tuner, or maybe using our clip-on, God forbid anybody sees us using our clip-on tuner, and we're just relying on the tuner to tell us if we're sharp or flat, and you know what I want to talk about is, are we really listening and training our ear to hear maybe some dissonance or some beating in between wrong notes or notes that aren't in unison? And do you know how to tune by ear? Quickly, if you want to tune by ear, as long as your low E string is in tune, we can go down the line. We can put our finger on the 5th fret and the string right below it. Oh, what's going on here? I'm muted? Oh my gosh. Crash, disregard. This is ridiculous. No! Can y'all not hear me? We can go down the line. Oh, I am being... Okay, you can hear me. Cool. We're back. Sorry, guys. This thing's wigging out on me. But either way, put your finger on that 5th fret of that low E string. You're going to be playing an A note. So it'll serve as a nice standard for the string right below it. E, 5th fret is an A, and then you strum the A string below, and it should sound nice and tight, right? Okay, well, let's get down to a string that's maybe out of tune. And if you know about your B string, it's tuned a half step down in relation to your other strings. So we can put our finger on the 4th fret of the G string, and let's make that B string a little flat. 4th fret of the G string is you're playing a B note. And notice how you can hear that beating, or let's go even more flat. So, you know, use your ear. It's a little flat. There we are. So are you actually listening to your strings when you tune them? Back in the day, I didn't have a clip-on tuner or a floor tuner or a pedal tuner. I had to just get a reference note off of my cousin who had a guitar and a tuner, and I'd say, hey, play your low E string, and he would, and I'd find that E, and I'd use my ear to tune the rest of the guitar. So, listen, and okay, maybe use your ear, but you know, still go back to your floor tuner just to make sure, and see how far you were off, or maybe you were directly on pitch. I think I was. Yep. I detuned 2 strings and I tuned them back by ear, because I grew up using my ears. So that's one thing I want to talk about. So use your ears when you tune. Learn the ear tuning method. Okay. I don't want to go too far into that. You can look that up on Google. It's super simple. You're going to use the 5th fret for every string besides the B string. When you get to that G string, to tune that B string, you're going to want to put your finger on the 4th fret of the G string. that plays a B note. But then once that B is in tune, on the B string, you'll go back to the 5th fret and play that E, which is a 4th away. So they're all perfect 4ths away from each other. So E, A is a perfect 4th away from E, D is a perfect 4th away from A, G is a perfect 4th away from D, and then B is a 3rd or a major 3rd away from G, and then it goes back to the 4th system where E is a perfect 4th away from B. So the next thing I wanted to get into is, are you listening to yourself when you play? Are you picking up the guitar and you just going right into the songs that you've learned, you know? And that's good, go into your songs, but touch back up on your technique. I learned this from watching Tomo Fujitora, just a little simple chromatic scale practice. And you could start on your D string, maybe. And, you know, but listen closely. Notice that this string is wound. Okay, so, and if you aren't careful, when you slide, you hear that? So are you listening to little things like that? So the drill that he showed me was 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you keep your pinky held down and you creep that index finger position up to that 2nd fret now, to avoid that scraping sound. Okay. Do it on your D string, do it on your low E. It's not as easy as it looks. It's not hard, okay? It's something that you should touch back up on every once in a while, beginner or advanced. It's very simple, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 fret, 2, 3, 4, 5 fret. And you can go backwards. When you get to the 12th, go back. Same concept. Okay, those are just simple little finger warm-up drills to remind you that the guitar is a very tactile instrument. It picks up all those little notes and all those little sounds, and frequencies, especially if your strings are wound. Next thing I want to get into is how well are you muting? Let me get this camera angle down a little bit. How good are you at muting? Because that's going to be one of the things that separates you from the rest. Okay, how many ways do you know how to mute your strings? Well, a lot of us know about the basic palm muting, right? Where we use maybe this part of our hand, right? Maybe about this much of our palm here, the edge of our palm, and we can mute the strings by applying this part of our palm directly on the bridge. See how it lines up? Oh, right there. If you lay that right on that bridge, okay, and you don't want to completely mute the strings, right, when you're doing this kind of muting. Sometimes it just adds that effect, so make this chord progression sound a little different, like, okay, here's without muting. Right. And here's with the muting. A little more interesting. A little more controlled. More texture. to build up and build dynamic, right? Turn it into something bigger. So think about dynamics when you play music, okay? If you start out full blast, full volume, everything you got, where can you go from there? Right? Nowhere. So use this part of your palm to mute, but there's more than that you can mute with. Maybe when you play power chords that just involve the root, the fifth, and the octave. So it's like an A power chord, right? And you want to get, maybe click on some pedals here. Now notice those are the only 3 strings that are ringing out, but I'm strumming the entire guitar, the entire set of strings. So unlike a bar chord, I'm not actually pressing down my entire force on the 5th fret here. I'm really just applying the low E string note. And then my finger's kind of arched. So if you look here, okay, if you look here, sorry, let me get that. Look at that. So that part of your finger, right? And I'm barely resting this part of my finger on the strings here. Okay. So that way I can rock out, strum the whole thing. There's another way right there. What do you think's happening here? This is an A chord, right? It's an A chord rooted off the 5th string. So this E really doesn't have a place unless we're playing a first inversion A chord, and we're not going to get into first inversions right now, but what's happening is I'm still strumming the entire shebang here, but pressing down all the way. I'm just applying a little bit. So I'll go ahead and mark it just because we're doing it. Shout out Tomo Fujitora. So right here. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little more. Maybe more so up here. Right? That part of the thumb is actually what's doing the job. And not only can you fret with it, but it can be a you know, kind of like a safeguard for your D chord, the first inversion A, or maybe an A chord, right? Notice I'm still hitting this. It still kind of gives you that tone you need. Okay, so right here you've got 1, 2, well, let me show, 2, and then 3. 3 ways right there you can mute your strings. Okay, I mean you can be playing chords, and you can, you know, mute everything with your pinky if you want. You can just rest your hand on it, you know. So these aren't the only 3 ways, but these are 3 very important ways to mute your strings. And finally, to get on to things like, you know, are you recording yourself Are you fully self-aware of what you really sound like? Are you recording yourself? Are you using a metronome? Are you actually on time? Is your tone right? You know, do you have too much gain? Do you have too little gain? I don't know. These are things that I still think about. So it's not a beginner or an advanced subject. It's really just being self-aware and actually listening to your playing. So that's really it, guys. Once again, these books are fixing to drop. I'm going to be shooting a video soon, but I've got this... I'm going to be shooting like a promo video, like an ad video, but I've got this busted eye vessel, and I don't know. I was reading up, it said it's going to take like 2 to 3 weeks to go away. Here it is. It says it right here. Look. How can you fix a busted eye vessel? 2 to 3 weeks, bro. Right there. It says it. So that explains that. But the website's supposed to be going live. Got my logo created. Working with a great dude. So yeah, guys. Thanks for staying with me. These are some things that you can think about. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, if you like the stuff. Ring the bell on YouTube so you know when I go live. And yeah, we'll see you next time. You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.